We're beginning to come back, folks. We can because we're giving workers a chance. Unemployment's down, but to the surprise of a lot of economists, so is inflation. We're beginning to come back, folks. We can because we're giving workers a chance. Unemployment's down, but to the surprise of a lot of economists, so is inflation.
Sometimes you have to look backwards before you look forwards. And when you look backwards and you can interpret what the truth is, when you look forward, you can understand exactly what you're looking at. Biden fooled a lot of folks in that he ran on the numbers. Inflation is good, but you knew it wasn't. Unemployment numbers, they're down, but you knew businesses were closing. I don't have to go on social media. You know, just Google how many businesses have closed. It's a giant bowling ball wrecking through every major city in America. Now, I wanted to blast this off, and folks don't think it's the most sexiest topic, because as I swirl through this internet, and I'll probably do a video on who's sleeping with who today, just so I can get some views, because that's what sells when it comes down to the algorithm. But I got to do what I got to do. I want to show you the slick moves that these presidents make. This clown ran on numbers, but you know good and well he was not telling the truth.
How do you feel Donald Trump has done in his first 100 days in office?
People have a very interesting way where they'll remember the one thing they don't like and forget magically the 9 things that went well. The border's closed. Illegal crime is substantially down because illegals are now afraid of being arrested. We're seeing the price of energy down substantially because one of the major things Trump ran on is slashing all the regulatory red tape, meaningless EPA regulations, the climate cult. So people don't talk about the fact that prices are down, be it eggs or be it fuel or groceries for that matter. Isn't it amazing that the people who a year ago were saying how the stock market is for horrible fascist capitalist pigs are now extremely worried about the stock market in which they own no stocks?
How do you...
What planet is he living on? And he should have challenged him. That's all I got to say about it. Don't even email me on it. It ain't got nothing, it ain't personal. It's business. When you know your business, you're going to challenge folk. I said it. That's what journalism is about. Challenge them. Challenge them. Challenge these people because they don't know. And I'm going to show you why they don't know.
We have to get the criminals out of our country, and that's the basis under which we won the election. Core GDP, and this is, you probably saw some numbers today, and I have to start off by saying that's Biden. That's not Trump, because we came in on...
You're going to blame somebody. GDP is going nuts. That's Biden. That's Biden. You've had it 2 months and 10 days. 2 months, 10 days. You just celebrated your 100 days. And you're still blaming Biden. This is what they're doing, people. It's the arrow blame game. Until you look up one day and we're in the fiery furnace hollering for Jesus. I got news for you. We're dealing with devils. We're dealing with devils. Let's listen to it again. Somebody got to call it out.
Criminals out of our country, and that's the basis under which we won the election. Core GDP, and this is, you probably saw some numbers today, and I have to start off by saying that's Biden.
That's Biden.
It's not Trump.
That's Biden.
We came in on January, just the quarterly numbers, and we came in, and I was very against everything that Biden was doing in terms of the economy, destroying our country in so many ways. Not only at the border was more obvious, but we took over his mess in so many different ways. Core GDP, removing distortions from imports, inventories, and government spending, was up close to 3%. You add it. We had numbers that despite what we were handed, we turned them around, and we were getting them really turned around.
I'm going to show y'all what's really going on. Just sometimes it's good to talk less. Just how you look at it. Clear value tax, I'll put it in the description. He's going to show you that it wasn't Biden.
Biden. So please take a look.
Core GDP, and this is, you probably saw some numbers today, and I have to start off by saying that's Biden. That's not Trump, because we came in on January, this is the quarterly numbers, and we came in and I was very against everything that Biden was doing in terms of the economy, destroying our country.
Okay, so this negative GDP for Q1 of 2025, is this Biden's fault or is this Trump's fault? And fortunately, I'll tell you that, this is so clear cut, and I'm going to show you. So I want to show you what happens. So this shows GDP each quarter over the past 4 years. So for the past 2.5 years, it's in the positive 2 to 3% range for the most parts. And then all of a sudden, for January, February, and March of 2025, so we're talking about Q1 of 2025, it plunges to negative 0.3%. So I want to tell you who is at fault.
So you've been injured in a recent car accident.
You that it is President Trump that caused the negative GDP. And if you're Trump's...
You hear that? It was Trump who caused it. Listen.
Who is at fault? Now, I'll tell you that it is President Trump that caused the negative GDP. And if you're a Trump supporter, I'm going to tell you that you're going to want to hear the twist to get the full picture. But anyway...
They all know that this administration is not being intellectually honest about how trade works, right? I've talked about it many times. Scott Bessent is a hugely successful guy, as is Howard Lutnick. And they are going on television day in and day out and misrepresenting how trade works. And let me give you an example. Yesterday, kind of the big story was, Amazon, maybe they're going to put, you talked about it in the last segment, maybe they're going to put on their website how much the tariffs are costing, each item on the site. Well, suddenly they weren't, because the president made a call. The story isn't whether or not Amazon was changing the prices and listing tariffs on the website. The story is as follows. This administration has told us day in and day out, U.S. businesses aren't paying the tariffs. U.S. consumers aren't paying the tariffs. It's going to be foreign countries. If that were true, Michael, why would the whole hullabaloo have happened with Amazon yesterday? Why last week would Walmart, Home Depot, and Target beg the president and said, please, do not do this. Our shelves will be empty in 2 weeks. If it were true...
People, it don't matter if it comes from NBC or CBS or Fox News. Economic truth is economic truth. He wasn't telling you the truth. He don't know what he's talking about. And he sure don't know what he's talking about. He's had, 5 to 8 bankruptcies. How you gonna trust him with money? Come on, man. We pay for the tariffs. We pay for the tariffs. Now the question you should have, and I should have, can our economy withstand these tariffs? And if we had a real media and other social content creators who had the balls to present it the way I'm going to present it, then you would fully understand what you're dealing with. But they keep us economically illiterate with 36-point-something trillion dollars in debt. And now you padding it. And now you adding trade deficits. And all over the social media the last 2 weeks, you better get your goods right now, because ain't nothing going to be on the shelf in 2 weeks. It's called panic buying. No wonder the GDP is all haywire. No wonder the Federal Reserve don't know what to do. They're waiting for the dust to settle, but it can't, because he's doing something which doesn't make sense. It's called instability. You can't have instability when somebody else owns your debt. And I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you.
Basically shifted from consumers and corporates to the government.
The U.S. Treasury bond market could be on the brink of a complete collapse. This is a $27 trillion financial asset roughly the same size as the entire US gross domestic product, and the impact that a collapse of this market would have on the economy would be catastrophic. US Treasury bond prices have already fallen by 50% since 2020, which has already reshaped the entire economy and financial system. But as I'm going to show you in this video, we're potentially at risk of seeing another monstrous move down, which could have even deeper economic consequences. So just for some context, unless you've been living under a rock, you might have heard that the current US administration has torn apart every single long-standing trade partnership with foreign governments around the globe. You probably also know that these same foreign governments are also holders of US Treasury debt. In fact, foreign ownership represents about 30% of the current outstanding US government debt. As they say, our students stay.
And you cannot sustain an economy also based on a service economy, of which we have. And about time the tariffs kick in the negative way, we're going to be looking up 2 months from now, like
The #1 hair regrowth.
like how did we get here? We got to think long term. We got to stop letting him sell us the okie doke, because that's what he's selling us. He's selling us the okie doke. But it's not the truth.
If you know the market, and bonds are the exact instrument to really mess with a country, you know.
Okay, just to go back, so bonds is the official way you buy a country's debt?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, and by
Why would you buy a
buying,
country's debt,
if
though?
you, why? Because
Because
it's been a
power,
very secure
leverage.
way of earning interest. Okay.
It's also a strategic way of going to war with a country.
Like, and you know, if you know the market, and bonds are the exact instrument to really mess with a country, you know.
Okay, just to go back, so bonds is the official way you buy a country's debt?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, and by
Why would you buy a
buying,
country's debt,
if
though?
you, why? Because
Because
it's been a
power,
very secure
leverage.
way of earning interest. Okay.
It's also a strategic way of going to war with a country.
Like,
This is how you go to war with a country. Recipe for disaster. He did not tell the truth about the economy. He's not telling the truth about the economy. He hid behind the numbers saying, well, unemployment is down, so the economy is good. He said, I'm doing trade. We're bringing in millions and billions of dollars. And Doge is getting it done for the future. Tech companies are coming in, running amok. And in 3 to 4 years, we'll be in the glory land of the sun god, the golden age. But what about now? Will we get to that? Will we get to the golden age? That's the question. Will we get to the golden age? I don't think we're going to get there. We can't. Not with the trend that we're going. Because somebody else owns our debt. I said somebody else owns our debt. And you're wagging the dog with the trade. By messing with these kingdoms, they hold your debt. And the number, trust me, is bigger than 30% globally. When you rattle the markets, you're going to have more than empty shelves, baby. It's a setup. U.S. economy shrank 0.3% in the first quarter as Trump policy uncertainty weighed on businesses. I bet it's worse than that. I don't trust what they print. Come on, man. They don't want you to panic. Why do you think one day he did the tariffs, then 4 or 5 days later, he said, oh, I cut it back to maybe 20%. And the market went back up. It wasn't just allegedly so his boys can make millions of dollars and bat a dip. He was saving the thing because he know if it continue to plunge, it ain't gonna never get back up. And then he did it again. And yet the average person being interviewed don't know what the blank he's talking about. Because they're economically illiterate. They don't know any better. America is international. We are twined. The New World Order people set this thing up. Henry Kissinger, Zygmunt Brzezinski, all these Secretary of States and the banks, they set this global economic exchange up for this day. And if you don't understand what's really going on, you're going to look at the news like, hey, this guy's making America great again. We're not going to get to the golden age. They will, but we won't. Look who owns the debt. The top foreign holders of U.S. debt, 2023-2024. Japan, China, United Kingdom, Luxembourg, Canada. These are the countries we messing with. Taiwan, Canada, China. These are the folks we messing with. And if, look, our country would go belly up if they didn't buy our debt. If I'm not mistaken, a few days ago, let me get out of this mode here. Let me get rid of this clown. Did America not borrow another $1.5 trillion this month? Or was it last month? Look at that. It appears the U.S. government borrowed approximately $1.5 trillion in the first 10 months of fiscal 2024. This borrowing contributed to the cumulative deficit of $1.5 trillion. I just read something recently. So let's see what happened for 2025. Okay. How much money has the federal government borrowed in the last 20 minutes for debt? Wow, we're 36.2 trillion. So we cover it in relation to what I first Googled. We borrowed $1.5 trillion in the first 10 months of 2024. We can't even pay interest on the debt. Now look at this. We get this breakdown. Listen to this here. This is from April 8th.
Trade war is intensifying. It's getting worse. I've got some posts I want to go over on X right now, and the Treasury is holding some closed door meetings, and it's getting interesting. If you notice today, bond yields are actually up. Why? Because I believe that this story could actually be true where China is dumping bonds. This first story comes out of X, says China sells $50 billion in U.S. Treasuries amid U.S. trade tensions. China has recently sold the $50 billion in U.S. Treasury bonds, contributing to an increase in bond yields. This action follows heightened tensions due to President Trump's announcement of potential increased tariffs on Chinese imports if China does not lift its retaliatory tariffs. Discussions on social media speculate about the implications of China's actions on both the U.S. and Chinese economies, with options varying on potential economic impacts. This is a very interesting quandary we have because first, bond yield.
That's where we're at. That's where we're at. You can't go out here messing with folks who you owe money to.
And you know, if you know the market, and bonds are the exact instrument to really mess with a country, you know.
Okay, just to go back, so bonds is the official way you buy a country's debt?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, and by
Why would you buy a
buying,
country's debt,
if you, why? Because it's
Because
been a
power,
very secure
leverage.
way of earning interest. Okay.
It's also a strategic way of going to war with a country.
Like and
To take you to war, people. So you have someone who's wagging the dog, people. This is what people on the street don't understand. And this is what illiterate people who are out here in the social media don't understand. They don't have a clue because they don't dig. They don't dig. All they know is basic economics. You can't wag certain dogs. You can't mess with certain dogs. No disrespect. He ain't nobody to play with. The second biggest economy going through things. You don't mess with him. You don't gangster him. You coming in gangster. You know what happens in the street? You can't gangster. When you gangster people, you get war. Come on, y'all. You know the street. You can't gangster people. Oh, Pearson, they've been getting away with murder for 20 years. I get it. But suppose it was all a plan to put us in this predicament. And now you're wagging the dog. And then he disappeared all of a sudden in a few months. And he washed his whole hands, everything. I said all of a sudden he just disappeared. Because they're going to give you a fake situation like they did on July 13th. So there's nobody to blame. Now we're looking stupid. Because now we got a convenient boogeyman, like we always do. Omar Gaddafi, Saddam Hussein, weapons of mass destruction. That's how they play it. And we the one that suffer. Numbers don't lie. These foreign countries, when you go after them one way, they come after you another way. You can't go around bullying people who own your debt because they will dump the debt and crucify you. But it don't hurt him. He a millionaire, if not a billionaire. He got real estate in foreign lands. He ain't gonna hurt. His family ain't gonna hurt. Selling gold, gym shoes, Bibles, and everything else. He all good. He blinging. And everybody around their table around him, they blinging too. They're not hurting. But we were hurt. We were hurt because of the real numbers of inflation. The reason why when you take a drive, you see all these buildings not occupied is because the economy, it stinks. And it went into free fall twice in the last 60 days. So what did he have to do? He had to rescue it. Oh, I won't have 50% tariffs. I'll suspend it for a little while. So the market could go back up because it was going in free fall. Elevators. I got elevator friends because I did building management for about 9 years. Every elevator is set up with a free fall mechanism, so to speak. That when it jumps, a safety will catch it. Guess what? We got that, but it ain't gonna catch this one. It ain't gonna catch this one. You think when you wag the dog, he gonna take his foot off the accelerator? No, he gonna put you in a crisis and he might allegedly strike you. We so stupid. We got stupid leadership. We got stupid leadership. Let me end on this. Canada holds approximately $350 billion in U.S. Treasury. And we messing with Canada. $351 billion. Look at that. They own our debt. They're messing with Mexico, $108 billion. This makes Mexico one of the largest foreign holders of U.S. debt. Are you kidding me? That's where we at, people. And I'm going to tell you the truth. I'm not the best in terms of the economy, but I understand what's really going on. And these content creators need to tell you the truth and stop rubbing up behind his you-know-what, trying to get media time and views out there at the White House, cozying up to him. Give a true analysis. Because all he going to do is do what Biden was doing. He going to blame somebody else, back and forth. Biden's out of the picture, and now it's on him. And then when he disappears with the phony crisis, we're going to be sitting looking real stupid.